Hey guys, it's been a little while since my last vlog. It's about a month and a half later. Let's talk about weeks 35 to question mark. Okay, so 35 weeks. Didn't really have too much going on. Having to go to the bathroom a lot, my back was starting a lot. Starting to get a couple headaches here and there, which for me was kind of weird, but I didn't think much of it. Figured that was just pregnancy. I did start getting a lot more leg cramps as well, which was also really weird for me, but I just was like, whatever. I mean, I'm 35 weeks, that's probably what it is. So really not too much to report for week 35. It was a pretty normal week, almost exactly like week 34. Nothing kind of big was happening at all. At the end of week 35 on the Saturday, I did have my baby shower, which I kind of suspected. I wasn't sure, but I did have it. My mom had it. It was amazing. She had it at my grandma's house, which was really cool. A lot of friends from university that I haven't seen in a while. My one friend came all the way from Boston. A lot came from Toronto. A lot of aunts who live a couple hours away came down to visit as well, which is awesome. So it was so cool getting to see everybody again. We were absolutely blown away by the generosity. Strollers, car seat, playpen / bassinet, clothes, blankets, like everything we need, diapers. It was just absolutely amazing. My mom especially and my family did an amazing job. My mom made a diaper cake. She decorated everything. She made one of those like baby carriage melon ball things. I'll show you, I'll put some pictures right now of some of the neat stuff that they had. Week 36 for me is when things started to go a bit downhill. At my weekly OB appointment, my blood pressure was much higher than it had been and had steadily been rising for the past couple weeks, but it wasn't near as bad as it was at this point. Plus there was a little bit of protein in my urine as well. So my doctor decided that I would be going for a non-stress test, an ultrasound, a BBT ultrasound I believe, and do a 24-hour urine test again. So all throughout week 36, that's what I was doing. I believe I did 3 non-stress tests. They all turned out fine. The baby was fine. My BBT test, the baby passed with flying colors. So luckily my blood pressure wasn't putting any stress on the baby, just myself and my kidney. I only have one kidney. I was only born with one kidney, and so the kidney, blood pressure, everything is related. So we were trying to keep a really close eye on it, especially for preeclampsia, because it can cause liver or kidney damage. So that was one thing that we were really trying to pay attention and looking out for. Fortunately, at this point, it was not causing the baby any stress. On the Thursday of that week, during the non-stress test, my blood pressure was much higher than it should have been. So they decided to call my doctor and have her come across the street because their offices are really close. And she decided to let me go, but put me on some medication for the next week, just kind of see if it would come down a bit. So the rest of that week was okay. Like I said, the non-stress test, I was okay. The 24-hour urine test came back fine. The protein wasn't an issue. It may have just been a fluke, but for some reason the 24-hour test came back okay. On the Sunday, which would have been the last day of week 36, I had pain just here, just below the breasts, right in the center, and I didn't know that was gastrointestinal pain. I honestly thought I had just hurt myself, like lifting something or stretching in a weird way. I didn't really correlate that that's what it was. It did kind of start in the front and it worked its way to my back, so I had pain both back and front. I had a lot of trouble falling asleep that night. I had to sleep pretty much sitting up straight, and I never kind of correlated the two. I did not go to the hospital just because my doctor was the next day, and taking Tylenol did reduce the pain a little bit. I figured I was going to see her the next day anyway. May not have been my best choice, to be totally honest with you, because I did have a headache as well, and those were both signs that my doctor asked me to watch for preeclampsia. Preeclampsia can be very dangerous if it does get to eclampsia, and it can be both damaging to you and the baby. So if I ran into that again, if you're questioning, if you can get a hold of your OB or get a hold of a nurse practitioner, here in Ontario we have something called telehealth that lets you have access to nurse practitioners, doctors, pharmacists 24/7. I should have called. 100% I should have called. I did not. Next day I go in, my blood pressure is quite a bit higher than it normally is. It was 150/82 or something like that, which is much higher than it had been even before pregnancy when I did have high blood pressure issues. So that was just terrifying. There was more protein in my urine again. She did an exam to see where I was, and I was only at 1 centimeter. So she's like, okay, we got to speed this up. At this point, because of my one kidney and everything, I kind of had a feeling something was happening. She came back in the room after looking at the urine and my blood pressure, and she sat down, and I just had this feeling something was wrong. And she pretty much said, here's a paper. I have faxed it over to the hospital. You are going over and you are getting induced. I didn't know what to think, or because I'm like, wait, no, I still have 3 weeks. This baby needs 3 more weeks to be in there. And I just kind of panicked. But she told me that she was going to induce me just for not only the safety of the baby, just in case it was too much stress on the baby, and also for my own health, for my kidneys' health. Since I only had one, it was crucial that we nip it in the bud before it became something too big or too dangerous for my body. I was not officially diagnosed with preeclampsia, but a lot of the symptoms were there, but the blood work and the urine just weren't matching up yet to make it preeclampsia. So she said, let's get this baby out before it does turn into that, and then the chances that you will have damage to your kidney will be much higher if we wait that long. So she faxed the papers over, and my husband and I went across the street and got admitted. 2 days later, this adorable little sleeping baby boy was born. This is Connor. He's kind of asleep. He was born March 23rd. And the next vlog we'll be talking about the birth story, because it was very crazy. We were in the hospital for a week. So I'll talk about that in the next vlog. But that's weeks 35 to 37, including the birth of the baby boy.